Well, good morning, folks, and welcome back to Coot's Ranch. We haven't done an update for a few days because there's been a powerful lot of things going on, and I've been running here to there and everywhere and just trying to get something finished around here. So I just thought I'd take you around and show you some of the stuff's been going on and some of the stuff we've gotten done. You'll notice out here on the front of the property we got some grading done on the deal, and now the house looks like it's pretty well buried and all that kind of stuff. It's turned out pretty nice. We've still got some grooming to do up there right next to the house, but Alan done a really great job. And you look down over here where the septic tank and all that stuff went in, and he's got this all graded out and cleaned up. And a little bit later this year, well, not this year anymore, I guess this year's almost over, but a little bit later, right after the first year, we're going to probably hydro seed all this and make sure we got good grass growing in the spring and all that kind of stuff. So you can see they took out a bunch of the rocks that were laying out there that they dug up when they put the septic line in and all that kind of stuff. So they got this all cleaned up, those big piles of dirt and rock and all that kind of stuff. We got our board fence in out here. We got our back end of the house is all done, and we got the board fence in, and so the pups have got a nice little yard to run around in and do their thing and all that kind of stuff. We got great patio deck in there with a handicap ramp so the dogs can get up and down real easy. Look at that field. Just look at that view. Look at that view out there. All that green out there, that's a cover crop, undercrop under the beans. This is the old bean field. As you can see, the beans are all gone, and you can't even tell it had beans in anymore, and it's greening up nicely. That's not, we can't get too excited about that because that's not good grass. That's just cover crop that'll hold the soil together and block in some of the nutrients and make sure it don't run off when it rains and all that kind of stuff. But it sure looks pretty green, don't it? And especially in the middle of December. You can see we got some other stuff out here. We got this big old pile of wood. That's some trees and stuff we've taken out of the barn. We're throwing away. We have a big old bonfire here. Probably around the first of the year, we're gonna have a bonfire and burn that stuff up and get rid of it. You'll notice we still got equipment sitting around all over the place because we ain't got the barn all cleaned up yet. So we're gonna get that barn cleaned up so we can put all the equipment inside the barn. But look at that deck. Look at this deck and this fence from this angle. This is our little road that goes back into the property. Standing out here, and you can see the back side of that house. You notice that down there in the end, the house got longer. Yeah, the reason it got longer is because we've got the garage built. They're finishing it up today, probably. They're doing some last minute stuff to get that all finished up. But we got a nice 30 by 30 garage on the end of the house, so we can park our cars right there. So let's take a walk up here on this deck and show you that. Turned out really nice. Boy, these guys did a wonderful job on this. Gabe and the crew, they did a really good job making this deck so that we can come out here in the summertime and have a cookout and grill and do whatever we want. Have some folks over, and the pups can come out here and lay on the deck and watch what's going on around the ranch. Keep an eye on things for us. That's their job, is to keep an eye on things. They're pretty good at it. They'll let us know if anybody's around. We've got this nice walkway up here so we can go up steps. We can go up here on this deck. We've got a wonderful little deck up here. It looks really nice. Got plenty of room for us to get a couple of tables and chairs up here. And look at that view off our deck. Every morning we can come out here and sit and have our morning coffee and look out over the stuff. And hopefully by this time next year there'll be cattle running around in that field. Cattle and or horses. We'll have a nice area there. And we've got, like I say, we've got the handicap ramp. Put this in for the dogs because we got two older dogs that they've never been on steps. We never had the opportunity to have them on steps because we lived one-story houses and all that kind of stuff. So they've never done steps, and they're old enough now that old adage, you can't teach old dog new tricks. You know, they can go up and down the steps, they just don't like it. So we put this ramp in. They can walk down this ramp just like this and get all the way down here at the end and get off into the dirt and go play and do whatever they want to do. So we got this area done. We're going to enjoy this a lot come this spring. We don't do it so much right now because you got to remember we moved here from Arizona. We're Arizona folks. We lived there for, we didn't grow up there, but we've lived there for 35 years, so we're pretty acclimated to that 110-degree weather. And right now the weather in Arizona, in Phoenix area, is pretty warm compared to here. This morning when I got up, I looked at my temperature gauge and it said 29 degrees this morning. So it's not real warm in the mornings. Now it's gonna warm up to in the 50s today. So by this afternoon it'll be really nice, and it's not too bad out here right now. So you can see we got a little more dressing to do. Got some cleanup to do with some block cuttings and stuff like that, and we got to get some more riprap around that tree to hold that bank in. So you can see, if you look at that, just what little bit of rain since we put this pad in here, you can see the rut starting to form in that little hillside. We got to keep that. We got to keep the dirt up there where it needs to be, but we don't want it coming down here on this tree. We don't want to bury this tree. We like this tree. We want to keep this tree healthy, so we got to create an area there so it's got plenty of room to breathe and stuff like that. You don't want to bury that stump because it'll hurt the tree. So we'll put some more riprap around in here. This here that's in here now is just stuff when I was busting up that big old rock, that table mesa I like to call it, that I busted up to get that septic tank in there. I just dumped some of that riprap over here. But we got some riprap coming, and Alan will bury that and stuff like that. So you can see we've got all this completed over here, and we've got here's the end of the house with the garage. We put a little lean-to on the end of it to park side by side under, so it can be out of the rain and stuff and dew. Probably should have made that a little bigger, to be honest with you. I told him how big to make that, and I guess I didn't measure it very well, and I didn't get it quite wide enough to park two side by side, two side by side. Yeah, anyhow. Didn't make it very big enough to park two of them under there, I don't think. So we got a little faux pas there, but we'll live with it. Maybe the wife will park hers in the garage and I'll park beside the garage or something, I don't know. And remember that parking lot? In the earlier videos I said I was going to make that parking lot. Yeah, that parking lot's pretty much done now. There it is. That looks pretty good. It's got nice rock spread all over it and compacted in and all that kind of stuff. We'll dress that up a little bit once Gabe and the boys get finished up in here and we get stuff going. We'll probably take the chain harrow and run it over this, kind of smooth it up a little bit. But it's in good shape. Going to give us plenty of room to park vehicles. As you can see, everyone want to know why is I putting in this parking lot? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got side by sides. We got a box grader here that goes on the back of the tractor to fix roads and stuff like that. We got stuff like that. All it needs someplace to sit. The machines now, the tractors and the trucks and the backhoe and all that kind of stuff, they're going to go in the garage or in the barn over here. Show you that a little bit and see what we did in there. I shot a video a couple weeks ago about Mr. Hicks and his boys were back and they were pouring concrete. Well, this is the concrete they poured right in here, and now this barn no longer has got a dirt floor in it. It's got a concrete floor through the whole thing. And so we got plenty of room. But we still got to clean up. There's still a powerful amount of debris and just old stuff, old lumber. Some of this is good, some of it's not so good, and we got to get rid of it, get it all cleaned up, and get stuff that's no good we need to get rid of, and stuff that is good we need to get fixed up a place for it. You see this pile of T-posts. Look at this pile of T-posts we had in here. Tons of T-posts, old T-posts. Every one of them still good. They wouldn't be piled there. They got rid of all the bad ones. We actually got rid of the ones that are bent up and missing their spades and all that kind of stuff. Those are all good T-posts. They're rusted. They're not pretty, but they're usable. Ain't nothing wrong with those T-posts, and we'll use those out on the ranch repairing fences or making new fences, that kind of stuff. But we got stuff like this. There's another pile of lumber. This is wood that was cut off of this farm, this ranch, and milled up. The old owner had that milled up. He didn't do his own milling. We're going to do our own milling. So there's that. We got to figure out what to do with. There's another pile of it over here. We got to figure out what to do with. And just you can see there's junk back here. There's cardboard and there's old boards and stuff that aren't any good that need to get out of here and all that kind of stuff. So we need to clean all this up. We got some old tin. We've got a bunch of old whatevers. There's all kinds of stuff in here that we need to get. There's some wire fence and all that kind of stuff. We need to get this cleaned up because we're gonna use this at least for now. We're gonna park the tractors and the backhoe and skid steer implements and all that kind of stuff inside because I don't like them being outside where they can get all wet, rained on, and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna fix that up and fix this up in here. That's after we get done with the project I'm about to go down and show you. We're gonna get this cleaned up and so we can get tractors and stuff in here. We'll do that by the first of the year. We'll have this ready to go and we'll get stuff parked in here. But you can see we redid this drive. We moved our driveway down over to there. Now the driveway comes in down there by where that truck is. We come in down there, come down the side road there and come up and go into the house. This part here is no longer a driveway. We closed that off up here in the front. We'll walk up there and I'll show you that. We kind of cleaned this area up a little bit and we leveled this end out. We buried the driveway, leveled it from side to side, and now we've got a big flat open area down here. We can put another building if we want to put another building in. We're considering doing that. We could kind of use another storage building or make this. We want to make this barn here an animal barn instead of a implement but a tractor barn. And we're going to put an equipment shed back here, I think. But we'll do that later next year. But so look at that. Got a nice pad out here, and that we can build a big old barn out here. We've got plenty of room for like a 60 or 80 foot wide by 120 foot barn. Then we got this area over here. You all might want to ask, well, why did you put gravel just there? You can gravel the whole thing. Well, we don't want to gravel the whole thing because if we build that barn, that up there is going to be concrete. And there'll be a barn sitting on it. We don't need gravel up there. But the real reason why we graveled this is one of my sons, my number 2 son, and his family, his wife and son are coming down with their 4 dogs. They're coming down with an RV. They were supposed to be here Friday. We just got a message today. They're going to be here tonight. You never know with Andy when he's actually going to do something. But I guess he got a wild hair and decided that leaving tonight or today was the best thing rather than waiting a couple more days. So he's going to be here tonight, and we're going to park his RV right there, and we're going to build him a temporary pen for his dogs right out there. So he's got this gravel and it's compacted, and while it's gravel and not grass, it's better than mud. So we've got that area. But so this has been a project that Alan's been doing for us here for the last few days. He hauled up gravel, and there's another bunch of gravel he hauled up here, just like when they built the house to make that pad. He hauled this up here. I'm gonna go out over this ledge here a little bit. I'm actually walking in what was the driveway before. This used to be the driveway. It's not no more, because you can see right down there. You can see it down there at the road where the driveway was, and it ain't there no more. And we've got a big old hill here now. He cleaned this all up so it's going to be easier to mow and all that kind of stuff. I'll get down here and turn around and show you this hill, this pad that he made from this end. You can see this pad that he made. See how tall that is? Can you see this? And that looks like a huge hill there. But it didn't really up there at the top. It really wasn't buried that very deep, because this ramped up really high. If you look at some of the old videos with the entrance and stuff like that, there's a big old climb here to get up in here, and you can see these scratches in the asphalt. We inadvertently put every one of those scratches in that asphalt. Well, we didn't, but we caused them to happen because that's where the semis were coming that come and deliver us our stuff, our furniture and all that kind of stuff. And some of the other stuff that we had delivered when we got here. For them to get up that driveway, they would drag their tail end on this asphalt, and it wasn't easy for them to get up in there, especially with that wire hanging across there, electric wire and all that kind of stuff. We had to hold that up to get semi trucks in through this lane. So we just thought didn't make sense to try to bring trucks and stuff like that up through this lane. Cars would make it all right, but trucks not so much. And we're going to have big trucks coming in here. We're going to have livestock trucks and and who knows what, all kinds of deliveries, lumberyard deliveries, all kinds of things that'll have to come up into the ranch, and going up that big old hill was not conducive to that. Plus, we wanted to be able to have another nice flat spot to build another building, to build a barn, and so we did that. And now, come later next year when we get around to it, that's on the list to probably, and I say probably because I don't know for sure, but probably build that building probably late summer next year and all that kind of stuff. And see, it gets us all nice cleaned out over here and all that kind of stuff. So, and then we've got another little project going on down here. You can kind of see it down there if you look. We've got a new fence going in. The boys are building a new board fence out here on the front of the property. We'll walk down through here and let you see this. This is you got to understand, these boys have never built a board fence before in their life, and kind of schooled them a little bit on how to do it and what to do, and it was a little shaky to get started, but they're doing a pretty good job now, and they're moving pretty decent. But we got a 4-board fence. We got posts. We still got to cut the post off and put the cap rail on. As you can see, it follows the contour of the ground. And the reason we're doing this, take a look at this. I'm going to put that's that rip wrap rock that we'll put around that tree. It'll be that same stuff that he's got right there. Put that in there so we ain't got grass growing on that vertical hill there, so we don't have to try to mow it. Anyhow, we're putting this fence in. This paddock, there's 2 paddocks here that we're fencing in, refencing. We took down had the old woven wire around the perimeter on here and all this kind of stuff. And Mrs. Coots wants the front of her property to have board fence. She likes to look at that, and so I said, okay, well, we'll build board fence out here out here by the road. Just dress the place up a little bit. Not cheap. It's kind of expensive, but we'll do that, and that's what we're doing out here. And then we're going to build cross fencing. We're going to do that with a different type of fence. We're going back and forth a little bit. We're either going to do barbed wire, woven wire, or possibly a new fence called timeless fence. We don't know. We're looking at those 3 things right now, and but we'll make that decision probably today on which one we're going to do, because we got to get it done, because we've got to get cows up here. We've got 3 or 4 bull calves back there in the back that are old enough. They need to be cut out of that herd of ladies back there, because we don't need them trying to breed those ladies, because that's their mamas and sisters and cousins and all that kind of stuff. And so we don't want those bull calves. We're not going to keep the bull calves anyway. We're going to sell them. Right now, we believe what we're going to do is we're going to feed those out. We're going to feed them. We're going to feed 2 of them grass hay to feed them out, and we're going to feed 2 of them grain to feed them out. And then we're going to offer those for sale. If anybody's looking to buy some meat, we're going to have those for sale here in a couple of months. They'll be ready to go within a couple of months, and we're going to feed those out, and we're going to see which one sells the best, which one tastes the best. We need some meat ourselves, and plus we want to sell it. But so we've got those. I think we got 3 or 4 of those that we're going to cut out of that herd, and that we already have, and finish them out. And we're going to use these 2 paddocks to do that. So we're going to put a cross fence in right. Let me see where. Oh, there it is. There's a 4x6 post right here. So we're going to put a cross fence in right here that goes right down to those other posts by that big tree down there at the end, and then we'll have 2 paddocks here that we can feed those cows out. They have plenty of room to roam around in. We'll feed them hay and grain and all that kind of stuff. But they're big enough areas that they're not going to stomp them into a mud hole. And then we've got some new additions coming. We'll see those in future videos here for too long. So spoiler alert, we're going to have some additions coming. We just bought another small herd of cows, different breed of cows. They're Corriente South Pole cows, crossbred cows. We bought a bunch of cow pairs, or triplets really, because they're cows with calves on them already, on their side, as I'd say, and they're all bred back. So we bought 10 of those, and we bought 10 bred heifers, first year heifers that are bred. They don't. They're pregnant right now for their first calf. There's 10 of those, and then we've got a big. We bought a South Pole bull, a registered South Pole bull, to go with them, and so that's going to be our new bull, and he will breed all of our cattle here, and the Angus as well. That's back there in the back. Those Angus cross, he'll breed those as well. He's not related to any of the ones we just bought. So, spoiler alert: we've got new ones coming in a couple of weeks. We're not sure exactly when. I've got to meet with the seller of those today. We're going to arrange shipment down there because they're not here. They're up in Arkansas, and we're going to have them shipped down here. So you can see the boys are down here hanging boards now, and the other two boys are down here setting more posts. They're almost to the end. They're not quite, but they're getting there. And we should have this board fence done this week, and then we'll get on the cross fencing and back fencing, because we took all that fence down, all the fence down over here. We took all that down because it was all falling down anyway, and so we took all those T-posts out, took down whatever wire. I mean, they had hog panel in there, they had gate panels, they had barbed wire, they had all kinds of mixed stuff in there, and we took that all down and cleaned it all up and put in better fencing and all that kind of stuff. So we're doing that this week and getting that done, so we can get ready to bring those bull calves up and get ready for our new additions. Our new additions won't go in these two paddocks. They'll go in the paddocks back behind here. They'll go back there for a couple of weeks while they get acclimated to our ranch, and then they'll get mixed in with the rest of the herd and all that kind of stuff. So we got Zach and Randy up here putting boards on. He nails those real good, don't he, folks? He can sure drive those nails. That was nice to him, letting him do my framing nailer. I have framing nailers and stuff like that, so they're using the framing nailer. What we're nailing that with is galvanized ring shank 16 penny nails.
Randy, I need nails.
So they'll hold on to that. They're galvanized, so they won't rust and fade out of there. But they're also ring shanked, so they'll hold on better. Then what we're going to do is, over every one of these joints, you can see some of these joints have got gaps, some of them don't have gaps, and the reason for that is because that fence is just following the contour of the ground. It goes up and down, as you can see. If you look down there, it goes up, it goes down, it goes all around. That's because we're following the contour of the ground, not even trying to make them level. And because of that, they get gaps like this one right here. You'll see they because it goes up and down, it gets that kind of a gap in it. Well, we'll put a 1x4 over every one of those joints down the front of that, and that'll dress all that up, so you won't be able to see it. It'll look like these guys were pros and cut everything perfect, which they're doing. They're doing a good job. Just don't tell them I said so. I don't want them to get a big head. It's going to be a gate system here, so they're going to step back here for a little bit, and they'll make a gate, and that'll be a gate to get in and out of this paddock from the road. There'll also be a gate between the two paddocks, so there's multiple ways to get in and out of this thing. So you can see the guys down here, they're drilling posts. Go down here and take a look and see what they're doing. See how they're working. They're keeping ahead of the guys hanging boards, so they're doing all right. So they're drilling that hole. They're drilling a couple feet deep, a minimum of 18 inches, but a couple feet deep. And then they got to clean the bottom of that hole out, because that drill won't pick all that dirt up. So they're just using the post hole diggers to clean the bottom of it out, and then they'll stick a post down in there and square it up and fill it up with rock, gravel. It's road base is what they're using to backfill that with, because it's got a lot of fines in it, and those fines are almost like concrete once they get wet and get compacted in there and all that kind of stuff. So they'll hold those fence posts. They're deep enough in the ground, just the dirt will hold them pretty good. But we're just putting the gravel in there. We've got it. We might as well use it. Just makes it easier to hold those posts in place. So they're going to go all the way down here. They've only got, I don't know, 2 or 3 posts left to do after that one. You can see they're going to go down here, and we've got this existing H brace. We decided to keep it because it's in pretty good shape. It's treated lumber already, so there's not much point in pulling it out and replacing it with different treated lumber. So we're going to go right to there, and we're going to fasten the boards. That'll be the end of our board fence right there, and then we'll go from there. You can see there's some chain or barbed wire going back there. That's going to get replaced with the new fence. We'll go back there. There's a creek back here. We'll go back here and I'll show you that. I'll show you back here. I can get around here without disturbing these guys too much. You can see there's a creek back here, and we're gonna put a fence in here along this creek, a few feet out away from it, so the cows can't get down in there. We don't want them down in there. We'll leave a few feet back off of that creek, so that we can use our boom mower, new boom mower, when it gets here. We'll be able to reach over that fence and keep that creek mowed, the edges, banks of it mowed, and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to go in. Our new fence will go in along through here, and get cleaned up. We'll put another fence in on the other side of that creek. Back over there, we'll connect into that fence that's back there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Then we'll come along on the back side of that creek and fence them off from the other side. So we don't want cows. You don't really want cows in your water systems. I know that all of the people that's owned this ranch or farm prior to us have allowed the cows. That's how the cows get their water. They don't have water stations or waters on this ranch at all. They've got creeks and they've got ponds and all that kind of stuff all over this ranch. Well, they just let the cows get down in there and drink whatever they want to drink and come up out of there. Well, the problem with that is cows don't just drink out of that water. They do their business down that water. They defecate and they urinate all in that water while they're standing there drinking. And then the next cow comes up and they go get drinking and all that kind of stuff, and they do the same thing. So the problem with that is well, give you an example. Who's watching this video wants to go drink out of their toilet bowl? I'm guessing none of you. We get sick if you do that. We know that. The cows don't know that. We know that. So it's up to us to take care of those cows and not let them do that kind of stuff, because we don't want them getting sick. We don't want to have to doctor a cow. We will if we have to, but we don't want to doctor a cow. We don't want to put antibiotics and medicines into that cow if we don't have to. And we'll do it to treat them and stuff like that if we need to, but we try not to do that. So you see this creek just kind of winds around here and all that kind of stuff. So we'll fence this all off. Probably put a fence right about in this area right here. About here is where the old fence was as well. But so we'll probably put that fence in right in here. That'll give us enough ability to reach over there and mow stuff and keep it cleaned up and all that kind of thing. You might ask, well, why don't we take these trees down and get them out of our way? Well, cows need shade. You don't want cows standing out in the hot sun all day. They need shade. So we leave the trees, not all of them, but we leave trees here and there to be able to give cows shade and all. Okay, folks, so as I was saying before I got that phone call and got interrupted, we've got this stream. We've got a fence off on both sides because this is a live stream. One of 5 there are on this property that runs 365 days a year. This is water that's going through this limestone that's under this ground, and it just shows up. I could take you and show you where this stream starts. It's just down there by, you can see them woods down there, right down through those little trees right here close to us, that bank of woods down there. That's where this comes up out of the ground and starts, and it's flowing all year round. In fact, you can see back up here, we've got at the end of this, setting off to the side of this stream, you can see where this stream goes round in through there and goes over there and down through here. And sitting here to the side, that big old wood box right there that we just built, we just rebuilt that. That's actually our well. It's a cistern type well, and it sits there, and that water filters into there from that stream, and we pump our water out of there. We've got a pump that sits just right down inside this little hatch. I'll open that up and show you. This isn't, typical well that most people would think about. You can see we've got it got this styrofoam in there to help insulate it a little bit so it don't freeze up. But right down in there, if you can see that, I don't know if you can see it or not, there's enough light. Right there's our pump. That's our pump that sits there and feeds the entire ranch up here. Both the barnuminium and the house and the barns and all that kind of stuff. That gives us all our water. So it's kind of important. That's another reason why we want to fence all the cows out of the streams. Is we don't need to be drinking after those cows and stuff. And that inside that little house right there is our pump house, that's where the power and pressure tank and all that kind of stuff. The well pumps it from there into there, and it gets distributed from there on up into the rest of the house. But you can see in here where we're going to put these cross fences. You can see we buried the buried electric line. There used to be, if you look in the old videos, you'll see about up this line there was this wire hanging up in the air. And that was the wire that powers this well house, and we put that in the ground so it's not up there getting caught on. Cows ain't bumping into it, and horses won't get tangled in it and all that kind of stuff. So we buried that. While we was at it, because we think we're going to build that building up there, there's another view of that pad we just built. We put another line up there. You can see that comes down through here and comes right there. That's a water line, or will be a water line. We're up there at that new building someday. We just buried it in there, so we got it done while we had this fence down. You can see we took this fence down. This old fence used to go right through here. You can see right where it was. There was a gate right here and another post right here. And you can see that where all those weeds are and stuff like that. Those are there because that was all weeds growed up in the old fence that was falling down and all that good stuff. So we're replacing that. We're going to put a new fence in across here with new gate system, so that you can come into this. You'll have a gate to be able to get back in here to the well part, and we'll have a gate to get into right here off of this lane to get into that paddock, and get into that paddock over there, and get up. This lane goes all the way up to the barn, and then we've got another gate there's another lane back over here that we'll be able to go through, so we don't have to go into paddocks. We can actually go all the way from the barn down this lane and get out through this gate here and get off into the lane and get through without going into any of the paddocks. And then we've got another paddock here, another paddock over there, and all that kind of stuff. So, and as you can see, it's just growed up. It's not been taken care of. It's got woven wire fencing, which is kind of great for perimeter fencing and stuff like that. Even cross fencing, if you can afford to put it in. It's expensive stuff, but you can see it's just overgrown and wasn't taken care of. That's a lane over there, believe it or not, between those two fences that you can see. And it's just overgrown and not taken care of and all that kind of stuff. And that's all on the list. That's where we're starting right over here in these two paddocks where the boys are just doing this board fence. We're just going to go right on around this place. We got stuff like, see, looky here. And we're telling you that water starts over here someplace. See that big old culvert? When it rains, that water will flow off all these hills and in that valley right there and come up out of the ground right down here by those woods and come down and fill this trench. That's where all these weeds are. It's also got to get cleaned up. But all that is full of water. It's just not on the surface. When it rains hard, there's a lot. It comes up to the surface, and that's where it flows over the top of this little swell here. We're gonna fill this in, put some culverts in here, and fill this all in so we ain't got cows getting down in here and falling down in here and all that kind of stuff. So we'll put culverts in so that water can get from one side to the other, and we can get through that lane. We got all that to fence off and clean up and all that kind of stuff, which we'll get done. So we're making progress. Seems like when you're here on the ranch, it seems like we're working and just spinning our wheels and not getting anything done. There's such a big, long list of stuff. When you start a new generational ranch and farm, and no matter what kind it is, no matter what you're doing on, whether you're row cropping or you're raising animals or whatever, there's a powerful lot of work to do. Now you can go find one that's already set up, it's got all its fencing in pristine condition and all that kind of stuff, and you can find those around. They are around. We looked at some when me and Mrs. Coots looked at this ground, we were looking at others, and we found some that was already finished. I mean, we didn't have much to do. We could move in there and move cattle in there, and all that kind of stuff, but they wanted a lot more money for them. So we'll ultimately have the same amount of money into this ranch as one of those finished ranches, but we're going to finish it the way we want it. That's one of the advantages of starting with something that's not in good repair, and if you got to repair, the bad thing is you got a lot of work to do, a ton of work to do. It just seems like we're just going and going and going and not getting much done. But when you look back and realize we've only owned this place for a few short months, and shoot, we've already got a house built with a garage, and we've got septic tank systems put in, we've got buildings put in, we've got driveways done, we've got pads done, we got new paddocks going in, and we've got cattle here now. We got more cattle coming, as I said, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot going on, a lot of things we're doing, and a lot of things we've got to do yet. So I'll let y'all go and keep fingers crossed. Check in every now and again. We'll see what's going on. The boys are making videos of what they're doing down there too. So maybe we'll get some bloopers from them, because it's kind of funny, because they ain't never done this before. It's kind of funny watching them do it sometimes, because they're not really sure what they're doing, but they're doing a pretty good job. They're learning pretty quick. They're going to be expert board fence builders before this project's done. They still got a quarter mile of that fence to build on the other side of from over the hill out there. We're going to fence the whole front of the property with that board fence, but not right now. That'll be future. This is the material for it. We'll pick this up and go store it in the barn, and when we get done with this part of it, and so we've got it for the rest of the board fence that we got to build. But yeah, it's getting there. So don't forget to click on subscribe and send us your comments. Tell us what you think about our board fence project and some of our other projects and how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you. Love to explain. If you got any questions on what we're doing or why we're doing it or how we're doing it, all that kind of stuff, feel free to send comments or send us an email or whatever. We'll take care of it. Stay tuned on the lookout for meat sales. Those are going to be starting here pretty soon. We're going to right after the first year, we're probably going to have a few head of cattle that we could sell sides or quarters, and we're going to cut some up and sell it by the cut. We'll have a lot of hamburger, and we'll have some steaks and some roasts and stuff like that for sale shortly after the first year. But we're going to have chickens. We've got chickens that are going to be due here probably late January. We'll have chickens arriving on the farm. We're going to start selling eggs, and in a couple of months we'll have some meat birds ready to sell and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned, stay abreast, check in with us every now and again, see if we got stuff for you to buy and all that kind of stuff. Check out our merchandise store. You can get hats and shirts and all that kind of stuff as well. So give us a shot, give us a shout, and I'll see you later. Bye.